What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Glad to have you guys here, and it's finally here. We made a combat video. This is going to be over my experiences in KVK. This is my first time getting 25 mil Crusader kills. As you guys may notice, we made, I want to say, about 340 mil KP this KVK. We did overall pretty well. You know, death-wise, we didn't do too hot. Obviously, I wanted to get like 1 mil 3 deaths, but obviously we didn't have that much flag fighting. We got absolutely smashed. So, you know, it was just a little more rough in terms of getting those deads in there, but in terms of kills, we did pretty well. Yeah, so overall, this video is going to be over some tips I have for people that are fighting and how I fought and how I think is best to fight, especially as an FTP to low spender. But honestly, I think you could probably take these general tips as like anybody. And one of the reasons why I say that is because generally I did pretty well even against cross-season migrants. It's been a little while since we exited KVK. I don't know how many reports I have on me because I didn't favorite a lot of them, but I did very well. So opening up, we're going to see what I used. Generally, I used Alex YSG. I think it's the best pre-sock march, like by far. I don't think it's close. Alex YSG gives you a lot of mobility, a lot of damage, a lot of stats. It gives you quick poking trades, and it also gives you long form trades. There's just a whole host of good stuff that you get from having this march. Generally, I would run this march with Ancient Stratagems instead of Silent Trial, and this is just kind of what I'd run with. I was down, I only had 4 Iconics when I was in the KVK, and I didn't get my 4th, I want to say it was my set boots. I don't think I got my set boots until like a little after the fighting first started. But once I got set boots, I was a menace on the field. So this is what we were using. You know, I have like different levels of gear on my different commanders. I mean, like we have like some critted purple gear. I guess I could have fielded 2 if I wanted to. When I first started and I was doing runes, I was fielding 2 at first, but then I just decided to field 1 simply because it was just so strong for me. So over here is us. It was 2500, 90, 94, and 96. We got the absolute shit beaten out of us. It was not close, my boys, and we got obliterated as soon as the passes opened, as soon as it fell. I want to say we held for like maybe 2 or 3 hours once these pass 8s opened, but I mean, realistically, there's no way we were going to mount the defense that we needed in order to win, and we eventually got steamrolled. And we opened up here, went in here, went in here. I want to say like our main alliance never won any runes. I want to say our side alliance won like 2, perhaps. Either way, you know, it was a tough KVK. It was not great for the kingdom. Now, in terms of me, in terms of getting kills, in terms of punching people out, I had an absolute blast, but kingdom-wise, we definitely got rolled. So, first off is going to be the march you're going to want to run. A lot of people are going to talk about Kusunogi, or maybe like Baybars, or some Mina, Saladin, some march like that. I am here to tell you guys that there are 2 marches that you want to run. Not even at the same time, okay? You either want to run Sun Tzu YSG, right? And if you're T5, personally, I would go like maybe like 50-50 on T5, T4, just so your hospital bills are a little lower, but you still have the punch of T5. Personally, that's what I generally did. Fielding all T5, man, that shit is expensive. I would not do that. I think fielding straight T4 is generally pretty good. And if you want to mix T4 and T5, you're a little on the wealthier side resources-wise, is generally also a good idea. If you're not T5, right, you're either going to have Expertise Alex YSG. I want to say Alex and YSG can be a combo, and Alex is 5551. If he's not at least 5551, I would save your sculptures for Season of Conquest if you can't expertise him by the end of KVK2, because if you can't do it that, you know, he's not going to be very useful by the time you get there. Your other march is going to be Sun Tzu YSG. This march hits like an absolute truck. It's going to get targeted in the open field, but it kind of is what it is, right? At the end of the day, you know, if you're using like Richard or Martel, like you're probably going to get hit by Alex YSGs, you're probably going to get hit by other strong marches like that, and you know, it's going to do a lot of damage to you. I think like an honorable mention here is another march that I didn't mind using was Charles Martel Sun Tzu. I guess you could also try like Charles YSG, you could try Charles Alex, Richard Alex, but anyway, those are all like pretty significantly worse than Sun Tzu YSG or Alex YSG. I just think those are the marches to run. Make sure you got your best gear on it and call it good. Unless you have like an absolute ton of legendary gear, I would not consider running more marches. Just not a great idea. Generally, when I found cross-season migrants, people that have been playing for a very long time coming into KVK, I would just target their weakest march. I'd absolutely obliterate it, and then I would, you know, work on their weakest marches piece by piece. And as I would attack their weakest marches, my AoE would hit their strongest marches. So you're only as strong as your weakest link, and that is never more true than when you're going against a bunch of YSGs in the open field, right? Your weakest T4 is not only going to get obliterated, but the fact that he is dying so quick and taking so much damage and getting AoE'd is going to affect you and all your allies around you. So, you know, make sure your T4s know what to do, because if they're getting obliterated out there, you're gonna share the pain. So now that you've got your best geared marches, you got your Sun Tzu YSG, you got your Alex YSG, the next thing you're gonna be looking to do is to hit the weakest people you possibly can. The weaker the person is that you hit, the less damage you will take when you deal AoE, and the more time you will have to continue hitting before you get below like a critical threshold in which you'd want to return home. So for example, if I was looking at this open field, right? Look around here, this KVK2, right? So I'd see Minamoto. Minamoto, super weak march. Mina, super weak march, right? Those are marches I want to hit. I definitely want to hit the Sun Tzu. Marches I wouldn't want to hit, I wouldn't want to hit Saladin, probably not, unless it was some kind of 1v1. I probably wouldn't want to hit Alex. I wouldn't want to hit Charles. I wouldn't want to hit Richard. I think Alex is probably still good to hit. He has a pretty decent amount of defensive stats, and obviously his shield makes it kind of difficult to get damage in on him. But if you see something like Minamoto, that is the easiest march to hit. Mina, Edward, any cav, literally any cav. I mean, Saladin's decently strong, but like in terms of getting swarmed, like it's pretty good. So like generally you're just looking to hit cav, then archers, then infantry in that order, with epics taking priority over everything. And if you see Ethelfled on the field, that is the #1 march that you should always hit. It's not just good for you, it's good for all of your allies too. Ethelfled is always just free kills, so make sure to pick her up. So when you get targeted, you're also going to want to move back. So if you notice the way these guys are fighting, you know, they're looking for scraps, right? They're pushing up. So they're going to try and hit somebody up here. And then when he starts targeting them with all of their marches, they're going to try and pull back. The reason why they're going to pull back is #1, you don't want to take any damage, but #2, you want to pull them into your march. So if there are bigger murder balls here, right, there's a ball here and there's a ball here, if they push up into these guys, or these guys push up into them, whoever they're attacking, if they can move further back into their murder ball, is going to lead to the other player taking more damage overall, right? Then you can turn back on them when they're around all of your friends and you're getting buffed and they're getting debuffed and taking a bunch of damage. That's probably the best case scenario for you. Pulling isn't just good for you, it's also good for your allies. One of the last main points I'll have here before I start, you know, just going to random tips that I remember is cheeseburgering. Cheeseburgering is absolutely huge. So if you look over here, you're going to have like a pretty decent amount, generally if it's going to be a close KVK, of like flag to flag, like city to city farming, as you guys both try to break each other's positions open. Obviously, this shit is burning, so, you know, they won't be here forever. But eventually, these bad boys are going to have to push up here to make sure that this flag stays burning. When they start pushing up here, you can pop out of your city, hit them with one ability rotation, and then pop back into your city. You can just do that repeatedly, and you'll get much better trades because A, they can't go heal, so they're going to do less damage to you, but even more so than just having the ability to heal, they also won't get to launch abilities on you. So if you're running Sun Tzu YSG or Alex YSG and you pop out of the city and you're attacking one dude and you have like a couple people hitting you, because you started attacking and you have multiple people hitting you because of the talents that generate extra rage, you'll actually get your abilities off first. So Sun Tzu or Alex goes off first, then YSG goes off, then you enter the building before they can hit you with their abilities, and you'll do a ton of damage to them and you'll get awesome reports. Something else that I'd like to add on to here is if you're using Alex, like this fine gentleman over here, generally when you see like a group fight like this, it is in your best interest to take, I wouldn't say super short trades, but mildly short trades. So if this Alex were to hit one of these Minas, or this Alex, with a little bit of hits, and he got his second ability, Alex's second ability does 1700 direct damage, right? As soon as you get this ability off, you have already won the trade. Like very, very excessively so. And so if you can get your ability off, whether that be a passive ability or an active ability before your opponent, and you leave, you will have much more damage done to them and their allies before you actually start taking large quantities of damage. Generally, if you're a weaker player, especially if you're against like cross-season migrants and stuff, you don't want to sit there and trade with them pound for pound. Any advantage you can get is an advantage you should take. And with these tips, these are the general rules of thumb that I followed in order to get my 25 mil C kills for this KVK. It wasn't the hardest thing on the planet because obviously if you're in a losing position, KP is generally easier to get than if you're in a winning position, outside of course, city zeroing. But yeah, it's pretty good. Fighting's not all too complicated, especially with the hotkeys. I would say if you're on PC Rock, I would just make sure that you're quick with going in and out and making sure you're not getting swarmed. But it's all about generally just trying to take trades. And as soon as you see your opponents coming towards you, you back up, right? It's like over here, like you see they're just being really cheeky. They keep poking. And as soon as the people turn, they back up. If you can do this with something like Alex YSG, you get an ability, you back, or you get a passive, you back. You just do that like 1,000 times and you'll find yourself with, you know, a bunch of hundreds of millions of kill points. It really isn't all that complicated. It just is a matter of picking the right targets and picking the right fights and running the right marches. So guys, I think that was a pretty concise video on like what I learned and how I fight. It's not really all too complicated. I know you guys may be thinking of certain things, you know, like what is the secret? But I mean, you know, it's nothing too complicated. There's a couple honorable mentions. Like I would say like node fighting is probably a big thing in particular. So let's say you have the MH guy in here, right? So you should pop out of this node. If you have one of the B2V guys walk towards this node and pop in it, right? You'll have some people that hop in the node and hop out to hit you. If you're paying close attention, when they hop out of the node and you hop back into the node, their march will try to go into the node, and if they're too close, they'll actually walk backwards to walk into it. But since you're already in the node, they won't be able to go inside, and so they'll have wasted a bunch of time, and generally you can get a march that would have escaped normally to a frowny face march had you not. Oh, check this out. This is actually an excellent kiting example, right? So he's got Martel YSG, so he gets his abilities off and it hits his allies. And then as soon as everybody starts coming in, so he's going to get the last YSG ability here, I'm pretty sure, then he's going to back up. Okay, well, you should probably try to back up a little faster than that. Anyway, so shout out to these two kingdoms. Hopefully they've got a great KVK. If you guys want to help support the stream, please consider donating to the Streamlabs link in the description below. I am full-time on YouTube, so any donation is greatly appreciated. If you guys are interested in merch, we got our merch link in the description below. We got phone cases, hoodies, shirts, the works. And if you guys want notifications when I go live or notifications when I place a video, or you want to ask me questions, the single best place to find all of that is the Discord in the description below. If you guys think I missed anything, feel free to comment such in the YouTube comments. I read basically all of them and I'll respond to basically everything. And if I see something that I really think I messed up on, I'll probably put it in either my next war video, if I make another one, if I've missed too much, or I'll probably put it in like my beginner questions video, because obviously people ask me about fighting a lot. I just figured it kind of deserved its own video. So have yourselves a great one. I'll catch you guys all later.